Hello and welcome, my fellow Path of Exile 2 degenerates. I kind of wanted to come and give my semi-critical analysis on Path of Exile 2 now that it's been out for a little, almost exactly a month. And you know, I've played quite a lot of hours. Let's see, I'll just double check that. According to Steam, I have played 198 hours, just there. And this character, which is my blood mage, I've played 5 days, 5 hours. So that's what, basically 120 hours ish. 24. Yeah, 125 hours. So most of my time played has been on this character. But basically, I kind of wanted to just run through, my overall, experience and analysis of this. Now, first off, I just want to mention I've been streaming over on Twitch. It's been pretty good, but I'm not getting a lot of new viewers, and I would really appreciate anyone who enjoys watching my content at all to go over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Vampstroke, and chuck me a follow. I'm pretty much at affiliate, but I'm not quite there. I just need my one more follow. It's, I don't know, Twitch says I have 49, but then also 50. Whatever. So I get subs set up, and I can start doing, the sub rewards whenever they do that. That sort of stuff's cool. But yeah, we'll jump straight into it. So I'm going to start off by talking about the campaign, and then about classes, and then Endgame, and then some kind of final notes on balance, and my own suggestions about kind of, I think, what should happen to the game. At least, from my perspective, as someone who plays pretty casually. I play a lot, but I don't try super hard. I'm not like doing meta builds and absolutely blasting. So yeah. So I'm just gonna think I'll just quickly run through a few things. So campaign. I think the campaign feels great. I think the overall starting zones, particularly like the first half of Act 1, even second half of Act 1 as well, can feel a little bit slow as you're kind of getting your build together. But I think the sense of kind of discovery and character development, and as you get better at the game, I think that pulls it through, and it makes it feels really good because of that. As you get into Act 2, you get your ascendancy and you get more stuff online. Like it gets a lot. In terms of gameplay feel, gets a lot better. It picks up. I feel like that kind of towards the end of the campaign and into maps, it starts to derail a bit as everything gets way faster. But that's not a big deal, and it may just be some tweaks of that stuff, and I'll keep going with that. I do find that there are certain parts of the campaign, the story's great. There's certain parts of the campaign that are extra hard depending on what you're doing. For example, the Dreadnought and Dreadnought Vanguard, that is the most deadly map. I died the most there, I would say. I think it's really the end of Act zones. Mana Ramparts and the Yog of Mana can be kind of tough, and then it's not here. Agarat zone can be kind of dangerous, at least that's how I found it. The pass zone. But yeah, as going through though, Cruel kind of was a lot easier overall. You just kind of blast through it. You already know all the fights you're doing. You know the zones, at least to some extent. And that's, I think, pretty good. But overall, yeah, campaign feels good. I think it'll be a lot better once we get the final acts. I mean, of course it will be. I don't know why it says I haven't killed Ignidok, but whatever. Now I want to talk about classes as well. So what I'm going to quickly do is I'm just going to grab a skill gem out so I can talk about some of the sort of specifics. Let's just grab that. All right, classes. I think all of them that are currently in the game feel different enough in good ways, including multiple ways to build them. So for the occult, loosely multiple ways. You got minion stuff and you got the bone and chaos stuff. I've mainly tried chaos stuff on this character. I've used some of the elemental stuff. This is my blood mage. I really want to use flame blast, but it's kind of annoying to charge up. You know, you get swarmed, particularly in like breaches and stuff. You get swarmed by a bunch of enemies. You can't really sit there and charge it up. I'm not really going to go too much to balance, because that's a whole nother issue, and then hopefully super easy to fix. The individual stuff will be easy to fix. The overall balance obviously is a fucking mess, but that happens in any game like this where there's so many different ways to scale up builds. I would say that only a few of the classes, builds, or weapons, I guess, have glaring issues. The biggest one, I would say, is that kind of flat unscalable time to attacks, which you can see just there. There's 1.5 seconds. It will not be modified by skills use speed stats. That's rough. Because outside of like a couple of them for mace, they're just 1.4 seconds. That doesn't have it. That's fine. Stampede's a bit unique. Supercharged Sam is slow. This on a Hammer of the Gods has a big delay. 50% attack speed scaling, like you got this. And you know, some of them are fine. Shadows there. Actually, how much damage does that have? It's pretty good. You know, it's stuff like that where you know, it's hard to scale up speed, and it also makes fast weapons useless for those skills. Like using a one-handed mace with rolling slam, it's like, oh wow, you're taking 2.5 seconds. Actually, it's not even. It's like you'd be taking 2 seconds instead of 2.25 to deal like half the damage. It's like, yeah, not worth doing. So it's made one-handed maces feel really bad when like I guess there's no good good skills to just hit quickly with a mace. Obviously, the maces are supposed to be the slow ones, so you'd hope a one-hander can attack a bit faster. I don't know the best solution for this. I think that this has to change in some way. Or give some sort of benefit if they do keep this. Because it feels really bad, especially with attack speed not scaling it. It's just disgusting. I think, yeah... I'll not go on a big rant about that. I haven't played with it too much. But yeah, I've got 7 out of the 12 classes ascended. The only actual class that I haven't ascended yet is Monk. And that's because my Gemling Legionnaire is literally just blank water stuff. But other than that, I've done 1 of each, with 2 Titans ascended at the moment, and 2 Witch Hunters. 2 Witch Hunters? 2 Mercenaries. I just realized I'm in the way. Let me just do this. Yep, so here we go. Stormweaver Titan, Gemling, Pathfinder, Witch Monk, Warrior, Monk, Ranger, Sorceress, Blood Mage, Witch Hunter. Yep. So basically, I've only really reached endgame with my Blood Mage and the Gemling Legion now. With the Blood Mage, the only one that I've actually played a decent amount of endgame, and I have played a decent amount of endgame. Now, and that's where I want to talk about endgame. So I've found the endgame to be pretty good overall. It's just, I think, a little bit shallow at the moment. It's obviously going to improve. We're in early access. We don't have a lot of leagues and stuff in the game. You know, they need to work on the pacing a bit. Obviously, they kind of rushed endgame a bit. They're like, oh shit, we need to work on this. And so it's not going to be perfect. And as Zizaran has said, like, you know, the game's currently in the worst state it's going to be. And I think the end game is a prime example of that, because, yeah, they've not had an extreme amount of time to flesh it out. Obviously, they have their knowledge of Path of Exile 1, but, you know, it's whatever. The pacing in Endgame gets very different compared to the campaign. Particularly with how monsters just absolutely swarm you, and particularly certain mechanics like Breach and Ritual are just vastly different pacing to everything else. Where you'll have so many enemies spawning in at once, and suddenly your build that you know, didn't need a crazy amount of area damage suddenly does, and you struggle if you can't just clear screens very quick. That's where I found Bone Storm to fall off, which I love Bone Storm, but like it just can't handle AoE well, unless I think the best way would be to use Snake Pit with Fork and then Chain Off Terrain, because apparently the Chain Off Terrain works with Snake Pit. I don't know. But yeah, that's the example of like, it kind of build stuff kind of dies down there, like variety when you have to be using the big AoE stuff. That's when I transition to Detonate Dead. I'm just currently using Lightning Warp and Mana Tempest for shocking and bonus damage. Current build is working quite well. But yeah, I've killed Zesht twice. I have not done any of the other endgame side content. I've only found 2 citadels, even though I've done quite a lot. I've cleared all the way up to tier 18. I've got the map boss passives all complete, which I'll pull that up. Here's my passive tree, Atlas passives. We've got the map boss passives. Haven't seen Arbiter, haven't seen Expedition boss, haven't seen Delirium, haven't seen Ritual, and done 2 Zesht. That was fine. I found that the progression through the endgame was a bit weird. You progress through most tiers of maps without any sense of direction beyond, like, earning Atlas passives. Only once you hit, like, above tier 10, when you start getting fragments for Breach and Delirium, does that start to feel like you're actually getting much out of them, because otherwise the Breach hands are dropping nothing, or 1 Catalyst or something. Feels kind of bad, and Delirium's just giving you, a few of the instilled emotions, or effectively oils from PoE1. But once you're above that, then you start to get all that, and that feels a bit better. I found Breach feels the best. I think a lot of people kind of on that sentiment. You actually work towards and get the boss from the fragments. Delirium has been a bit slow. I'm also a bit worried on this character because apparently there you don't get any corpses, and I'm a Detonate Dead build. You can see my whole selection of maps and all my tablets. I need to focus a bit more on Delirium and Ritual. That's my next goal. But I just feel like Ritual and Expedition feel a bit bad because you take steps towards fighting the boss. You just have to... Not Delirium. Sorry. Expedition, Ritual. Yeah, I said that right. You don't take steps towards fighting the boss. You just have to do like the highest tier maps and hope that either Audience of the King for Ritual or an Expedition logbook rocks up with the boss in that. And that's just kind of not satisfying. Obviously, when you get it, you're like, oh shit, I got it. But it's also just like, okay, well, the rest of it's been a bit of a waste to an extent. Obviously, you're still getting stuff out of it, but it's sort of like, you're not taking steps towards it, and that feels pretty bad for progression. I did like hitting tiers like 15 to 18 maps and doing the bosses to get the boss passives. I think they're very impactful and very cool. So all my bosses are now irradiated, so they're all high level. I thought that was pretty good. I think that something needs to be done with Ritual and Expedition, and maybe just the pacing as well, because it suddenly becomes a massive blast, kind of like PoE1, and that sense of tactical gameplay kind of flies out the window until suddenly, actually you did need to be in tactical gameplay. Sorry, you're dead, because a wave of a certain pack of mobs like fucking venomous crabs or something just suddenly fires a volley of projectiles at you that you weren't expecting because you've been clearing the rest of the map fine, and you just get blasted. Although that's been fixed a bit when I, worked on my life and energy shield a whole lot. And then I think I want to talk a little bit about some balance things. Obviously, we found that life has been not very good to build unless you do it really well. Energy shield is just so easy to get. You get all these increased maximum energy shield like here, You get 30% there. I could get another 28% there. Like there's a lot of increased max energy shield, and it becomes very easy. I spent ages trying to just go life with armor, and it was kind of shit, especially when I didn't have enough strength. But then, you know, I got this to drop, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm energy shield now. And that's that alone, as well as my amulet, which, holy shit, energy shield and rarity, what the hell. You know, these alone is giving me most of my energy shield. Yeah, look, I'm at 1,000 now. So this is 3,000 energy shield just between those two, which is absolutely nuts. That scale's way too high. I think something should be done about that. But outside of that, it's just like, well, I think overall balance isn't good, but it's like everything feels worthwhile to some way. It's just, I think armor and life feels a bit bad. It's not strictly shit, but you know, when you can get so much energy shield and chaos damage is a big problem. Chaos inoculation is really good. I can't go chaos inoculation being a blood mage, but you know, I've seen pretty much every other class go chaos inoculation in some way, except for I haven't really seen much warriors doing it, but they're still going energy shield because you can get armor scales up energy shield, and that's cool, sick. But yeah, I think obviously balance is something they got to work on, but that's a gradual thing. I think they need to focus on fleshing out Endgame a bit more, maybe making some tweaks to some early game stuff for Warrior and Monks. They struggle just a little bit before they get like the second and third sets of skills. Warrior Mace stuff, the added attack time, something's got to be done with. Make Citadels easier to find. Holy shit, like I've done so many maps, and yeah, I found 2 Citadels total. Also, I don't know why this says I failed the map. I've completed it. I've got the fragment. I just haven't done this one because I've already done an Iron Citadel with a friend. But yeah, like I've done plenty of this stuff. I mean, look how far I've gone here. I mean, apparently I just have to keep going further, and you know, I'm gonna work on delirium and rituals best that I can while going further. Although it's kind of annoying because exploring the Atlas is not very friendly if you want to blast a bunch of a specific content, because you kind of just have to hunker up around some towers. I didn't think I put anything in those. Maybe I did. But yeah, like, you know, you gotta kind of find a section of towers. Actually, I'll show you. Find a section of towers and dump a bunch of stuff in. I did that here, hence all the breaches, and that's how I got all of my breach stuff. Also, holy crap. Trying to move around on the Atlas here. Pain. Try and find things. Good luck. I think Citadels need a better way to track them. Also, I think giving some direction as to... they need to make the bosses, the progression through each of the systems a little smoother. As I said, I even think you need to start getting breach splinters earlier. By the time you finally fight Zest, you're already way too strong. The difference between the tiers is quite large. They could allow you to fight them earlier. I think something that I could suggest as a simple fix for economy things is make so you can make lower level breach stones using less splinters. So to fight a tier 1 Zest, you only need like 100 splinters. And make sure you start getting them from tier 5 rather than tier 10 maps or something like that. Because that... What's my minion doing? Because that would mean that the economy issue of like, hey, it's not worth running it because you may as well sell your breach stone to someone isn't a thing. Because I've mostly played solo self-found this entire time. I say that like I bought one item, which was this. It did not have that max spirit on it. I exalted the increased spirit on it. That's the only thing I bought on this character. And you know, I'm doing pretty well for myself overall. But yeah, I think I don't have a good solution. yeah, I definitely think that something needs to be done outside the pacing of this stuff. Balance could come in time. Balance will help bring build variety. The trials have to be tweaked, I think, a little bit. I think there needs to be less game-breaking, build-breaking ones in the Trial of Chaos. And even in the Trial of Sekima. Trial of Sekima is still just so unkind to Warrior and Mace specifically because of the added attack time. You don't avoid damage. You just kind of can't a lot of the time. Like, the bosses, sure, you know, they have big wind-ups. You get out of the way, you do big attack, whatever, it's fine. While just killing whatever, oh, look, a couple enemies fire projectiles at you, and you were trying to do a big attack. Either cancel your attack and try again, or get hit. Take your pick. It's just a bit of a mess. But, like, you know, overall, game, very good. I think currently it's... I think I already like it more than PoE1, although PoE1... This obviously feels new, and so, you know, I've played shitload of hours on PoE1. We've got... Steam has 2,700 hours here, and I played before I was on Steam, like when it's standalone client, early beta days. And then continued to use that for a while before I moved over to Steam. And I think I already like it more, although, yeah, it could be just because it is new. I haven't played 3,000 hours yet. I guess I'll have to see once I've done that. But yeah, I think outside of, you know, a couple of issues, I think some of the on-death effects are on-death effects, dude. Yeah, on-death effects are a fucking mess. I don't know the best way. I don't think on-death effects are bad. I think volatile plants should not linger anywhere near as much when you kill the thing that's spawning them. Because the amount of times where I'm killing a bunch of stuff, I find a rare with volatile plants, even if I don't kill it quickly, I'm like, oh, God, here's... The plants are spawning in, and you know, the enemy's dangerous, and, you know, dodge that, dodge this. Then I kill it, and then I go to move on, and the volatile plant thing is just following me just a little bit, and I wasn't aware of it. Or, you know, items pop up on the screen, and I don't see the volatile plant projectiles underneath that, and then suddenly I'm getting hit. They're doing an absurd amount of damage even after their nerf. I get stunned by one of them, and then I just get cleaned up by the others because I got stunned. And, you know, that's another thing where Chaos Inoculation fixes that because you're immune to Chaos. Fuck volatile plants, I guess. I think there's just a little too many on-death effects, and some of them are a little egregious. Volatile plants isn't even an on-death effect. It's just, it lingers so long. And I think that's the kind of big problem there. The volatiles of the Trial of Chaos need to be toned down. They're so fast, and they detonate so quickly that you can't run through them to set them off without getting hit and then getting stunned and then dying the rest of them. You have to, like, bait in to dodge out, and that's just a mess when there's shitloads of them, and also enemies attacking you, and yeah. Yeah, game's great. I am really keen to play more. I think the next thing I want to do is I want to play more builds. As I said, I've ascended 7 out of the 12 ascendancies, but I haven't really pushed into endgame. I want to play more builds. I want to experience more of the endgame stuff. I need to actually fight the Arbiter, find more citadels, do more of the non-breach endgame content. I don't know how easy it is to focus expedition. That feels a bit disjointed from the rest. I've seen people who have, like, completed all their things but done no expedition. But yeah. Game's great. Obviously needs some changes. I'm really keen to see what they do. I'm really keen for the new classes. But yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good idea about someone who I don't really try to min-max too much. I've done it a couple of times in PoE1, but I like Penance Brand of Dissipation with Mage Blood. I did that because I was busted as shit. But I don't try to min-max too much. This build is not really min-maxed in the slightest. I'm just figured Blood Detonate Dead was good for AoE, and then the Sacrifice setup I've seen people using worked out to be pretty good for single target. So I did that. Also, I haven't swapped his stuff back. I have 2 Detonate Deads. I just need the extra socket on this one. But yeah, I think that'll be it for today. As I said at the start, please check me out on Twitch. I'm going to do hopefully some more streams there. I may end up actually playing some Destiny 2 again because we've got new stuff coming out. I think either... Hang on. It's either tomorrow or next week. Oh, no. But... Oh, I think it came out last... No. Yeah. New Destiny stuff, I think, is literally tomorrow. I'll see. Yeah, thanks for listening. If you have any ideas about what I should play next, or as in build-wise, or things you'd want my opinion on, I'm trying to work out what sort of content I should be making. I like making these sorts of things, giving my thoughts. I tend to go on rants a lot with my friends. When new stuff comes out, we see this cool thing, and I start blah blah blah. I think going off that sort of content will be good. Some entertaining content of me fucking around. Obviously I'm not 100% used to streaming and talking in front of a camera yet, but I'm getting there. Also looking at the camera. I keep looking at, I've got OBS on my screen just here, and so I'm like staring not quite at the camera. I'm working on it, but I'm very much liking making content, both streaming and otherwise. And I think these sorts of things are pretty good. If you did watch the end of the video, thanks. Chuck me a like, subscribe. Holy crap, this ended up being way longer than I thought. Sweet. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.